What does Lamar Jackson need to do this year in order for that team, the Ravens, to win an increasingly competitive AFC North?
Same thing he always does. Like Lamar Jackson, ever since they dropped him in to replace Joe Flacco, he's elevated that offense. I think if they want to win a Super Bowl, Lamar is going to have to get more consistent in his downfield passing. But in order to win the division, a division that, granted, they didn't win last year, but they didn't come up short because of Lamar Jackson. Like he does everything. He's the engine of that passing game and the engine of that rushing game. So I think it would be impossible to ask for very much more from Lamar Jackson to win that division. But once we get to the playoffs, I think it's fair to ask for your quarterback to do a little bit extra.
Well, so maybe that's actually the better point, or the more significant thing to focus in on, Kimberly, which is to say it's not so much about asking more from Lamar Jackson, but asking slightly different things from him as that offense evolves. Do you believe that is necessary for this team to get where it wants to go?
Oh, yeah, Greeny. Last year, talking to the Ravens, this was a team that was talking Super Bowl or bust last year. So coming into this year, it's not about the AFC North. They are primed to compete with the Browns for that. But this is a team that's got to be better in the playoffs. Lamar has to be better in the playoffs, not just beat you with his legs, but beat you with his arm. And that's what defensive coordinators always talk about. Like, we're scared of him taking off. Well, they need to be afraid that Lamar is going to sit back and throw some bombs too. So I think that's the evolution that we need to see from Lamar starting in the regular season.
Mike T, that's the question. They have been somewhat one-dimensional, but so ridiculously good at it. Is that formula enough for this team to get where it wants to go?
No, because to get to a Super Bowl, you're going to have to win left-handed. That's the old Coach Belichick saying, which is, if we're going to lose, we're going to take away what our opponent does best. And as Neek said, it's getting the ball down the field consistently. He's only 38% when the ball travels 20 yards or more, which was 24th in the NFL. And if we're talking about it, we know that the opposing coordinators know about it. So if he could get that over 50%, it'll make this Raven offense that much better and could get them over the hump into the Super Bowl. He has a massive chip on his shoulder. Yeah. He transferred in college, went to Oklahoma, worked out there, became the first pick in the draft, and I really believe it. But, boy, I'll tell you this. If I'm the Browns and I see the fact that I have Josh Johnson and Troy Hill from the Rams, who have $44 million in cap charges for their quarterbacks, and Goff's dead money, and Matt Stafford, it's a daily reminder not to pay this guy too much money because it's going to cost you other players down the road. But if I'm them, I think Baker Mayfield will play hard, believe in himself, and see how this plays out over the next couple of years.
What do you think, Neek, when he says it's not going to have any impact on him or his season, and I guess of the decision they have in front of them here? What is your perspective?
Well, first of all, I hate when Tannenbaum comes on here and starts negotiating down other people's money. Get out of Baker's pocket. Let that man get all he deserves. I'm happy for Josh Allen. I'm always happy for players who get paid. And you need to negotiate yourself a ring light or something over there doing the show in the dark. But I do think that an interesting thing, you brought up the chip that Baker has on his shoulder. He was the #1 overall pick. That would suggest that maybe you should remove that chip because people respect you. But if it went away, it's back now. Because if you think about Josh Allen, before this season, everyone thought Baker was better. Like, it wasn't even a conversation. You can look at them statistically. Baker was better. And if you would have asked anyone, just about anyone, at the start of this season, who's a better quarterback, most people would have said Baker Mayfield. And then Josh Allen went all the way off for the entire season and made himself $200+ million. So I think Baker could be looking at that, even if I believe you and that nonsense about him not caring about money that much, even if I believe that, he has a chance to make a ton of money this year because all it takes, not that it's an easy thing, but all it takes is to play well at the right time.
In the meantime, Kimberly, hold on a second, Mike T, and we'll circle back, I promise. But there's one thing I did want to get in here. Because as we talked this morning, you and I, you told me you don't even think he's the player on that team under the most pressure.
This might shock some people. I think it's Odell Beckham Jr. Because when you look at Baker, at least has shown you that he can perform when the pressure's on. We haven't seen the Odell that we saw in his rookie year. We haven't seen that guy. His teams are 36-46 with him on the field. Cleveland is 11-12 with him on the field. We know, money or not, Baker's going to be that starting quarterback in Cleveland. We don't sort of know what Odell's future in Cleveland and beyond. We want to see that Odell back, that guy.
I think that is interesting, Dominique. How about that? The pressure on Odell Beckham to find a way to make sure this works with him on the field this year.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there will be pressure on Odell, but the world we live in is a quarterback-driven world, and Baker is not a completely made man in this league like a more experienced quarterback or more solidified quarterback would be. So the pressure's still going to be on Baker. If they don't play well this season, I feel like no one's going to be like, hey, but Odell is dragging him down. They're gonna be like, Baker is not stepping up in the way that he needs to step up. And I think Odell's going to be fine. Whether he performs well or not this year, if they start winning, and we're going to say we're going to be proud of Odell because he's either putting up big money or he's either putting up big yards or he is comfortable in the position that he plays on that offense.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.